Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Jennifer, and as always, I'm here with my good friend Leonardo. How's it going, Leonardo?
Hi Jennifer. I'm doing really well, thanks. I'm super excited about today's topic because it's something that can really help our viewers take their English to the next level. We're talking about idioms.
Yes, idioms are such an interesting part of the English language. They can be a bit tricky because the literal meanings of the words often don't make sense. But once you get the hang of them, they can really make your English sound more natural and fluent.
Exactly. And using idioms can also help you better understand native speakers since they tend to use these expressions quite often in daily conversations.
Before we dive in, I want to remind everyone to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We cover everything from basic grammar to advanced English tips, and we're here to help you on your language learning journey.
And if you're already subscribed, thank you. We really appreciate your support. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone else who's learning English. Your support helps us keep creating content that's both educational and fun.
Okay, let's get started. Leonardo, can you think of an idiom that you found confusing when you first heard it?
Oh, absolutely. One that really confused me at first was, let the cat out of the bag. I had no idea what cats had to do with secrets until someone explained it to me.
That's a good one. For those who don't know, let the cat out of the bag means to accidentally reveal a secret. It's one of those expressions that doesn't make sense if you try to translate it word for word.
Exactly. And that's why idioms can be so tricky. But once you understand them, they're actually a lot of fun to use. Another one that I like is, bite the bullet. It means to endure something painful or unpleasant that you can't avoid.
Yes, bite the bullet is often used when someone has to do something difficult, like having a tough conversation or making a hard decision. It's one of those expressions that really captures the idea of facing something head-on.
And speaking of facing things head-on, one thing our viewers can do to improve their English is to practice these idioms in real conversations. Don't be afraid to try them out, even if you're not 100% sure you're using them perfectly. Practice is key.
Absolutely. And if you have a favorite idiom or one that you find confusing, let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you, and your feedback helps us decide what topics to cover in future videos.
That's right. And if there's a specific topic you'd like us to dive into in our next video, drop it in the comments as well. We're always looking for new ideas that can help you on your English learning journey.
So, Leonardo, let's talk about some idioms that are commonly used in everyday conversations. One that comes to mind is break the ice. It's something you might use when you're trying to start a conversation in a social situation where people might feel a bit awkward.
Yes, I've used that one before. It's a great way to describe those first moments of a conversation when you're trying to make everyone feel more comfortable. For example, if you're at a party and don't know anyone, you might tell a joke or share a funny story to break the ice.
Exactly. It's a very useful phrase, especially if you're in a situation where people don't know each other well. Another idiom that's really common is hit the nail on the head. This means to get something exactly right, like when someone gives the perfect answer to a question.
I like that one too. It's often used to compliment someone when they've understood a situation perfectly or made a very accurate observation. It's like saying, "You've nailed it," or "You've got it exactly right."
And that's a great way to encourage someone, especially if they're learning something new. Speaking of learning, if you're finding this conversation helpful, make sure to like the video and share it with others who might benefit from it. We really appreciate your support.
Another idiom that I think is really interesting is, the ball is in your court. It's used to indicate that it's someone's turn to make a decision or take action. For example, if you've made a suggestion and are waiting for someone to respond, you might say, the ball is in your court now.
Yes, that's a good one. It's often used in situations where someone has to decide what to do next. It's like saying, I've done my part, now it's up to you. Another one that's quite similar is take the bull by the horns, which means to deal with a difficult situation in a direct and confident way.
I've heard that one too. It's all about being proactive and facing challenges head-on. It's a great idiom to use when you want to encourage someone to be bold and take control of a situation.
Definitely. And remember, idioms are a fun way to add some personality to your English. They're often used in casual conversations, so they can help you sound more like a native speaker. If you're enjoying these idioms and want to hear more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Speaking of casual conversations, another idiom that's really useful is under the weather. This one is used to describe feeling sick or unwell. For example, if you're not feeling great, you might say, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today.
Yes, under the weather is a very common way to talk about being slightly ill, like having a cold or feeling a bit off. It's a softer way to say you're not feeling well, without sounding too dramatic.
And what about cost an arm and a leg? That's another idiom that can be pretty confusing if you're not familiar with it. It means something is very expensive, like when you say, that new phone costs an arm and a leg.
That's a good one. It's such a vivid way to describe something that's really pricey. And it's one of those idioms that can add some humor to your conversations because the imagery is so strong.
Definitely. It's a great example of how idioms can be both descriptive and entertaining. And if any of our listeners have an idiom they've heard that they don't quite understand, we'd love to help explain it. Just drop it in the comments below.
We'd be happy to. Another idiom that's worth mentioning is burning the midnight oil. This one is used to describe staying up late to work on something, like studying for an exam or finishing a project.
Yes, I've definitely burned the midnight oil a few times, especially when I was in school. It's a good way to describe those late-night efforts to get something done.
It's another idiom that really paints a picture. You can almost imagine someone sitting up late at night, working hard by the light of a lamp. And that's what idioms do. They bring a little extra color and imagery into our language.
Speaking of late nights, another idiom that comes to mind is hit the hay, which means to go to bed. It's a simple, casual way to say that you're ready to call it a night.
Hit the hay is a classic. It's one of those phrases that's been around for a long time, and it's still used today. It's a nice, informal way to say you're going to sleep.
And after burning the midnight oil, you'll definitely want to hit the hay. But seriously, these idioms are such a fun part of learning English, and the more you practice them, the more natural they'll feel.
Exactly. And for those of you listening, don't be afraid to try these idioms out in your conversations. It might feel a bit strange at first, but with practice, you'll get the hang of it. And if you have any success stories or challenges, share them with us in the comments.
Yes, we'd love to hear how you're using these idioms in your daily life. And if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like it and share it with your friends. It really helps us reach more people and continue making these videos for you.
Another idiom that's really useful is the best of both worlds. It's used to describe a situation where you get the advantages of two different things at the same time. For example, if you have a job that pays well and you love what you do, you might say, I have the best of both worlds.
That's a great one. It's all about finding that perfect balance where you don't have to compromise. It's a positive way to describe a win-win situation.
Speaking of win-win, another idiom that's related is kill two birds with one stone. This means to achieve two things with a single action. For example, if you walk to work, you get exercise and save money on transportation, so you're killing two birds with one stone.
Yes, that's a very efficient way of doing things. It's an idiom that really emphasizes the idea of multitasking or being productive with your time.
And on the flip side, if something is very difficult or challenging, you might say it's easier said than done. This idiom is used when something sounds easy in theory, but is actually quite hard to do in practice.
That's a good one, and very true in many situations. Sometimes things sound straightforward, but when you try to do them, they turn out to be much more complicated.
Definitely. And that's why it's important to be patient with yourself as you learn. Some things, like mastering idioms, might be easier said than done, but with practice, you'll get there.
Absolutely. Learning a language is a journey, and every step forward is progress. So, don't get discouraged if it takes time. And remember, we're here to help you every step of the way.
That's right. And if you're enjoying this journey with us, make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We've got plenty more content coming your way, and we'd love to have you as part of our community.
And don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new videos. We're here to help you improve your English, one step at a time.
So, Leonardo, before we wrap up, do you have a favorite idiom that you use regularly?
One of my favorites is a blessing in disguise. It's used to describe something that seems bad or unfortunate at first, but ends up being a good thing. It's a reminder that sometimes, good things can come from difficult situations.
That's a great one. It's all about seeing the positive side of things, even when they don't go as planned. And it's a really uplifting way to look at life's challenges.
Exactly. It's an idiom that encourages optimism and resilience, which are so important in language learning and in life in general.
Very true. So, to all our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into English idioms. Try using some of these in your conversations this week, and let us know how it goes.
And if you have any other idioms you'd like us to cover, or if there's a topic you're particularly interested in, leave us a comment below. We're always looking for new ideas and suggestions from our viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, practice makes perfect, so keep working on your English every day. And don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with your friends.
We'll see you in the next video. Take care, and happy learning!